1 minute. You. Two minutes used.
So, addressing food, addressing the regulations as a public health issue and a public health necessity. The FDA and other regulatory agencies are there to ensure that the foods and products and technologies consumers are using are safe. So the burden of proof on these developers is to prove that their product or food, GMO, created like potential marketplace item is safe. So we're not looking for reasons to discontinue it, which is similar to a lot of other, which is applied to different foods and different sectors. So it's not fair to like assume that it will hinder production in a way that's not necessary, because we wouldn't want to just survive off of processed food, which we could do, like the bare, like the most minimal nutrients that people need with when we have the means to ensure that other foods are safe. And the other problem with Kirby's idea of like the upward trend in food security that GMOs create is that it's not necessarily a problem of like producing enough food, but it's a problem of the distribution of the food. So there may be some like correlational relationships between how much food is produced and the percentage of the world that's food insecure, but it's not accurate to say that it's causational. And so that makes it less important to just create higher production levels without a sense of regulation and without questioning what the food looks like. And with the environmental impacts, it's a similar mission to where the FDA and EPA will be establishing the environmental safety of these developing products and developing technologies, to ensure that the already like problematic consumption and use practices of Americans aren't compounded by these products. So it's proactive and it's important in producing more without harming our ability to produce in the future. productions of these developing products, there's no guarantee that it will slow down the producers, but it's possible that it just makes the process for producing the best, least potentially harmful product into a competition. Because as agribusiness grows and as it expands, more and more organizations and corporations will be investing in different forms of technologies, and with the regulations, there will be more pressure for them to create better products and be more responsible in what they put on the marketplace. And the regulatory agencies are already there too, and so the cost of investing in more regulations now is potentially a money saver if we aren't dealing with some of the public health issues and environmental concerns down the road. So it's something our federal government can do now to prevent catastrophic, very costly situations to deal with in the future. And the
Kirby, you have 2 minutes of question.
Thank you. I'd like to use the rest of that, please.
You used 1 minute 30. Thank you. As of 2008, according to Black et al., 1 in 8 of the world's population suffer from food insecurity. This is a massive problem in a society where we share essentially everything throughout the world through our globalized markets. If we are to effectively combat global hunger and food insecurity, we need to have higher yield crops that can effectively get the amount of calories necessary to the people that need them. GMO crop yields are, as both my opponent and I have shown, higher. And they have a better ability to deliver the calorie yields that are necessary for combating global hunger. High costs are one of the main causes of food insecurity as it is, according to, I'm doing a lot of flipping, I'm sorry. According to where is it? C.C. Campbell, the Nutrition Department of Cornell University, in the Journal of Nutrition. And if we are able to lower costs by producing higher yields, we'll be better able to combat food insecurity. We have seen that attempts to regulate GMOs, such as food labeling, have resulted in higher costs. So sorry. It is so well laid out like 2 seconds ago. There it is. According to William Lester, professor at the Dyson School for Applied Economics and Management at Cornell University, a study on the impact of voluntary GMO labeling versus mandatory GMO labeling, Dr. Lester says, voluntary labeling is an option which case the costs are borne by the sellers and largely passed on to consumers seeking those products. State mandatory labeling laws, such as recently passed in Vermont, proposed in New York. New York State, among other places, would shift those costs largely onto consumers. He analyzes the obligations of different sectors of the food industry, projected GMO labeling compliance, and operates under the assumption that costs will be passed along to the consumers, as economic models typically do. He concludes it will with certainty that there will be notable costs, overall higher food costs in the state of New York. This shows us that attempts as simple as labeling GMOs have passed the regulatory costs as simple as labeling have passed those costs on to the consumers. And we know from, as I said before, that food insecurity is largely caused by rising food prices. If we are to regulate more, even if it's a small amount of money, as in getting more regulation through the EPA, that's going to slow down production of higher yield GMO crops, and it's going to increase food prices around the world in a time that we really can't afford to. Furthermore, there's been a noted lack of environmental risks and even some potential environmental benefits. Biotech crop production has resulted in important environmental benefits. Pesticide use on 4 crops in the countries where biotech crops have been planted have fallen by 359 million kilograms. That's approximately negative 8.8%, resulting in larger than 17.2% reduction in associated environmental impact. Furthermore, greenhouse gas emission reductions have also been facilitated, equal to about 14.2 billion kilograms of carbon dioxide in 2007. And these are all from Graham Brooks and Peter Bigford, and focus on yields in biotech crops in the PG Economics October 2009. So we've seen that we've seen that environmental risks are low, that GMOs are extremely safe for human consumption. We've seen that they help contribute to fighting food insecurity, And so why would we spend extra money and extra time limiting the production of these crops when we have all the necessary protections in place as they are now, and we need to move quickly in order to solve the environmental, social, and public health problems of today.
What was that? Bridget, you have 2 minutes of reflection.
Oh.
I'm so sorry, guys. I had that really well laid out, and then I mixed up my thoughts in my head, and it got all jumbled.
Okay, I'm ready. So, so while he addressed food insecurity in the higher crop yields, he didn't really address the argument that there might not be a direct causational relationship between the percentage of food insecure individuals and the crop yield. So that's problematic. And then his argument about the attempts to regulate GMOs with labeling is interesting, but not directly related to the type of regulation that I'm proposing, because the regulation I'm proposing happens before the marketplace. And so because these products and technologies aren't in the market, the responsibility is not shifted onto consumers, it's shifted onto the producers of these technologies and these products. And again, the responsibility that's given to these producers is just to establish safety within their product and within their technologies, which is what the regulatory agencies are created to do, and what we'll have to expand on as markets and technologies expand. And it really shouldn't be a hard thing for these producers to establish through their process with the regulatory agencies. And there's no evidence that producers will be deterred by these additional regulations if these products really are the silver bullet, and they'll make a lot of money anyway. It's worth it to invest in the potential extra time it will take to create products that do not cause these health risks. And additionally, as the environmental questions I raised and the environmental benefits of GMOs I raised, it's much, because questions about their environmental harms are out there, it's much more prudent to just address the questions with developing technologies and with developing products, really in any sector, in any case, because of our current condition. So basically what I'm asking for is not a deterrent to the current producers of GMOs and GMO technologies like Kirby is suggesting. Rather, it's just an accountability measure to make sure that these developing technologies are given the same amount of scrutinization as other more well-established technologies.